Welcome to Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation possible. You will get to hear from CSIA system integrators and industry partners to get a better understanding of how they help their clients solve process challenges and how they've earned success in their careers. Along the way, we will touch on system integration best practices, technology, trends, and challenges. Whether you are a manufacturer, end user, supplier, or system integrator, you will enjoy the insights these industry professionals bring to this podcast. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Lisa Richter, the host of Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation and processing possible. In today's episode, we're talking industrial automation with Dan Barrera, who is a product manager at Bosch Rexroth. His experience includes automation solutions, industrial Internet of Things, and their application in industrial manufacturing and business transformation. He is also chair of MHI's industry group, Conveyor and Sortation Systems, which promotes the market growth and effective use of, you guessed it, conveyor and sortation systems in manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, and other key markets. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite, and I look forward to your questions.
Let's start with an easy one. Did you choose your career or did your career choose you?
I would say, short answer, the career chose me. I got this memory back when I was a kid, thinking about all the things that I could do. Doctor, could be an engineer, or I could go into the military, all these different things, astronaut. But in particular, I had a memory where I was sitting down with my family members, my cousins, and I was talking to them about becoming a lawyer. So yes, I wanted to become a lawyer, non-technical career. But as I was going through high school, friends and my father's influence, I would say, I started to like electronics, computers, programming. I guess that was, back in the late 80s and 90s, computers became this big thing. It was really, I remember back in school, I remember there was a lab with computers, and that was the class that I was, really excited to go to. I remember doing BASIC. That was the operating system or the office tool or BASIC. So yes, I started liking the computers and electronics, and I ended up actually going to school, UIC, University of Illinois, for computer engineering. It's just one of those things where I saw myself doing engineering and something related to computers, learning how they work, learning more about the microchips, the programming of them. Actually, as I was getting closer to graduate, I was starting to think about companies that I could work for. And obviously, the big ones came in mind: Intel, AMD, Dell, IBM, or similar. So right after college, or actually just right before I graduated, I had 3 job offers. One of them was actually from Intel. And then there were other 2 companies that were more into the communication. And one was related to industrial automation, a competitor to Bosch, I would say. So when I was looking at the job offers, I was looking into the one from Intel that was going to be doing certain tasks. I actually was going to be doing a lot of, microchips and wafers, design, testing. But when I looked at this other company, which is an automation company, I was looking at the job that they were offering. They actually sold it very well. I remember seeing in there things like you get to do pre-sales, project qualification, proof of concepts, writing proposals, programming, doing integration, working with the integrators to help them out, be a consultant to them, doing commissioning and training. So I saw a variety of experiences, skill sets that I could add to my portfolio, to my tool bag. And I saw that as an advantage. This company, like I said, did a very good job selling the position. And, I recognized the name of the company, just like I would recognize Bosch. But little did I know that I was going to get into a job that was going to get me into industrial automation. As a matter of fact, I remember when I accepted the position, my first day, I was actually asking questions to my colleagues. What is a PLC? What is ladder? Because these are things that they don't teach you in school, at least not back then. Nowadays, they talk about PLCs, they talk about ladder, they talk about automation systems. It's actually part of the engineering curriculum nowadays. So yes, I was asking my colleagues, and yeah, I never expected that I was going to end up here. Now, fast forward 18 years later, I never expected it to be part of the Bosch Rexroth family, being the product manager for one of the latest controls platform. We call that ctrlX automation. So yes, I did not expect all this. So I would say my career chose me 100%.
So speaking of Rexroth, share a little bit of the history, how it began and how it kind of evolved over the years.
Back when I started in the industry in 2004, I remember I quickly learned about all of our competitors. And Rexroth, or Bosch Rexroth at the time, was one of them. In the early 2000s, Bosch acquired Rexroth. That was actually in 2001. So back then, it used to be called Rexroth Indromet. Rexroth was a hydraulics portion of it, and Indromet was the controls and drives. And Bosch saw a need to get into the controls, drives, and industrial automation side of things, really have a group that dedicates to that. So they saw Rexroth as a potential addition to them that can bring that technology into their group. So like I said before, back in 2001, Bosch acquired Rexroth Indromet. But let's go back. Indromet, I would say back in 1965, if I get my numbers correctly here on my history correctly, Rexroth, which was the hydraulic company, acquired Indromet for the same reasons. They wanted to expand their portfolio more into the drives and motors, electrification, I would say. So yes, Rexroth acquired Indromet. And at that point in time, the headquarters for Indromet moved to Lohr, which is a small town in Germany, close to Frankfurt. I wouldn't say small, but it's a town. At that point in time, Indromet actually kind of unified with Rexroth. They became a great company, provided nothing but quality products on controls, drives, and hydraulics as well. Again, the reason why Bosch acquired Rexroth Indromet back in 2001. But it's not that they couldn't keep their name. They just made a decision to drop the Indromet name. However, all that technology, all that quality was still applied in our products even today. As a matter of fact, from, I would say, 2001 all the way on to 2017, they kept the name Indra in the products. Even though we don't keep the name Indromet in our company name, we keep it in the products. And that's because our customers recognize Indromet as a quality company. But yes, today we're known as Bosch Rexroth. And as a matter of fact, just recently, under this Bosch mentality, Rexroth mentality of factory of the future, we have released our latest platform called ctrlX. So now we're not keeping the name of our company in our product. We're actually now utilizing the name of the future, and we're adding that into our portfolio, like ctrlX automation. And then we use words like IoT, or we use words like safety, and those are the names that we're adding into the different products and features that we offer nowadays.
Would you say that you specialize in an industry or a product or a discipline?
I do. I would say from the very beginning of my career, I always got involved into the control side of things. So when you look at the automation and electrification, like the products that make that real, the servos, the drives, the IOs, the controls, the HMIs, and so on, I found myself specializing on the control portion of it, which is the heart of the system. That's where most people would say the magic happens. But in any case, so yes, from day one, I found myself very deep into the control portion of it, programming the controls, setting up the interfaces to the different components like the drives, the IOs, and then really gathering all that data that nowadays we take and we export to the cloud. So yes, my specialty in regards to the product has always been on the controls. Now, in regards to technology, at the very beginning, I was very focused on machine tools. What is a machine tool? Well, anything that does cutting, like a woodworker or a milling machine or a machine that makes gears. We call those gear hobbins. So I did a lot of that at the very beginning. Later in my career, I actually moved into another company that got me into packaging, winding machines, textile machines, and even got me into what we call intralogistics or warehouse automation. So my focus in industry moved from machine tools more into the packaging world. And then that's actually where I'm in right now. At Bosch Rexroth, we actually specialize, or we actually target the battery, the semicons, the packaging, the intralogistics. Since 2017, that has been kind of like the focus. Machine tools, great technology, loved it, enjoyed every minute of it. But my focus now is into those industries that I just mentioned in there. So controls, packaging, intralogistics, semicon, battery, EV, that's my main concentration. As far as technology, what's the latest and greatest? Digitalization, IoT, cloud computing, AI. So since 2015, I would say that I concentrated a lot of my learning into digitalization, the AIs, the IoT. So I would say that since 2015, I actually learned a lot about it. And then not only that, develop a passion for that topic, the whole digital transformation.
Come closer, my little chickadees. I want to share a little known fact about CSIA membership. Are you ready? Here it is. This is the best time of year to join. Why? Because CSIA dues are prorated, which is just a fancy way of saying that when you sign up to become a CSIA member now, you will get the rest of this year and all of next year included in your membership dues. Plus, the same is true for any CSIA Industrial Automation Exchange upgrade or package. Of course, CSIA membership is value-packed no matter when you join, but it's kind of nice when you feel like you got a little something off the secret menu. You know what I mean? For more details, visit www.controlsys.org/shine. What are you waiting for? Let CSIA help you and your entire team achieve big things. What suppliers do you partner with?
Let me actually say that at Bosch Rexroth, partners are really important. They're really important to the company. They're also really important to me. We actually have a program, it's kind of like a framework in which we're able to create different levels of partnerships. So to us, partners are really important. They mean a lot to our success. And yes, they are an extension of our business. Let me actually go back in my personal history. One of the things that I learned from the very beginning is partners are a key component to an organization, to success, to create value in the industry. So to me, that's always been the one thing that I remember. And I actually gravitate towards companies that believe in partnerships. So in any case, with Bosch, when I first came into Bosch, one of the things that I learned in the company is that they have this framework for partners. And then they have two levels, just to kind of simplify the framework, two levels of partners. One is the channel partners. And these are the partners that will support us on the sales aspect and the marketing aspect of the product. So anything that has to do with distribution, integration, co-branding. And we also have what we call the strategic partners. These are the organizations that collaborate with Bosch Rexroth to provide technology. These are partners that are providing content into our ecosystem, into our tool bag or portfolio with their technology. So they make it available not only to us, but to the customers that we work with. That's key right there, because ctrlX automation, which is kind of like the product that I represent or that I manage, that is actually a key component. How does this work? ctrlX automation is based on the smartphone business model. So for example, let's just say you have a cell phone, let's just call it brand A. And I got the same cell phone, brand A. We both got the same unit. We both got the same hardware. But how do we make it different? Well, we make it different based on the apps that we download online. You have your own apps. I got my own apps. So technically, we get the same phone, but they are customized to our needs. ctrlX automation is based on that. So now, why is that important? Because on top of ctrlX automation, you have an ecosystem that is built by the apps that we develop, Bosch Rexroth, but also the apps that are partners or strategic partners, the apps that they develop. So the apps that they develop, they go into our ecosystem, and they actually are providing all this technology that they have to our customers. When our customers buy our hardware, they can go into the App Store and download all this technology. So yes, to us, at that level of partnership, it's really important. It provides a value in our portfolio.
How has Rexroth grown or changed in the past year? And what do you expect for your company in the next 12 to 24 months?
I'm brand new with the company. I've been with the company since early this year, 2022. But I've known of Bosch Rexroth for a long time, and I've seen their growth. So I can tell you personally that we have grown a lot, but more since 2020. Most people would say COVID happened that year. We had a plan. We had a mission. We had a strategy. And then, yes, since 2020, our company has grown. I am part of that growth. With this release of ctrlX automation, we need people that can help us manage the product, sell the product, grow the product, break into new markets that we have never been before. So there has been growth at all levels, not only here in the US, but globally. What's going to happen in the future? Let me put it this way. I hope that I'm going to meet new people within the organization within the next 12 to 24 months. Now, let me just say, when it comes down to technology, how is Bosch different? What have we done that is different? What are we going to do different in the future? Well, I just kind of talked about the whole smartphone business model. That is what's different about us. ctrlX automation is based on that model. It's based on, I buy the hardware, I have an app store, I download the apps, and then I modify or I customize my unit based on the needs that I have. That right there itself brings a lot of benefits to us as a company and a lot of benefits to our customers. Why? Because we now have this ecosystem built of technology that will meet today's demands and that will meet the demands of the future. So yes, the hardware itself plus the ecosystem will require a lot of work to maintain and to grow. And for that, we need more people in our company. For that, we need to grow as a company. So yes, in the future, we're not only going to expand our portfolio or technology, but also the partners that we work with so we can actually be ready to meet the requirements of the future.
What would you say is the smartest decision your company has made recently?
The change in technology, the change in strategy, the way we approach the market. I was at a conference this week, and then during a keynote, there was a phrasing that I remember. If you are going to follow your competitors, you're always going to be behind. So that was worth mentioning here. But I would say we change our complete product portfolio. Many companies don't do that. Many companies just don't scratch what they have and start all new. It's difficult. It's a challenge. From my point of view, I would say that it's a smart decision. Why? Because that just says that we're able to see what's coming in the future. We're able to realize that our current offering is going to take a lot of work to be future ready, to be ready for the future demands, the digitalizations, the cyber attacks, the AI, all this predictive analytics. We saw that with the current portfolio, we are able to update it, but we're not able to meet the future demands that we see coming, the trends. So we made the decision to take what we call the G1, the current generation, and then put that aside and then create something new. The new product is called ctrlX automation. And again, that's all based on building an ecosystem, bringing partners in, thinking about the IoT, the AI, cyber attacks, thinking about predictive analytics. So yes, we're able to offer all the hardware. We're able to offer cutting edge technology, the latest microchips, the latest CPUs, the latest connectivity. TSN, 5G, you name it, we're able to do that. But on top of that, we're able to offer the ecosystem that is full of technology that is able to give you what you need as a customer, as an OEM, as an integrator, to build a system that meets the requirements. But to me, ctrlX automation, it is one of the greatest decisions that we have made as a company.
Tell me why your customers return to you project after project.
I'm just going to keep it simple, Lisa. Quality. I remember, again, going back to 2004 when I first started in this industry. I remember walking into a plant and I was there to do something else, but it happens to be that the system that I was working on was full of Rexroth equipment. Again, I was there to do different type of work, different programming to a different unit, but it was just impressive to see all this equipment from Rexroth in there. And then listening to people talking, all I can hear from the maintenance people is these products from Rexroth are quality, they're reliable, they're user-friendly, they don't break often. To me, that is a really plus to our customers, quality products. That is the reason why I started the statement by saying quality. To Bosch, Rexroth, quality is very important. It really doesn't matter if it takes us longer to go in the market. We're not going to go in the market with a product that is not quality. Even if it takes us more time than we estimated, we're going to release a product when we know it's ready to be in the market and it meets the quality standards of Bosch Rexroth. Now, from my point of view, this is important. Why? Because customers are going to remember that. Like I said before, I was listening to all these conversations and all I can hear is quality, reliable products, user-friendly. That's really important. Another thing, additionally, let me add to that. I would say that the product life and then the good migration path that we offer is another benefit. And it's another reason why customers come back to us. So let's just say that we put in place a machine 20 years ago, back in 2000. Now a customer is ready to migrate. Well, we have plans for that. We know that this is going to happen at some point in time. And we have a migration path that allows you to go from system A to system B being the latest. So we're already thinking ahead. We have a system integrators partner program that we bring in to teach them not only about the latest products that we offer, but also to teach them or to kind of let them know, hey, when you're talking to an end user, let them know that we can actually migrate that old equipment into the new one. And we're trying to make it a lot easier for the customer. Easier meaning less downtime. It would take X amount of time to upgrade a system. We try to minimize that. Cost, we try to keep it down. And then also the training. When you're going from system A to system B, training is really important. So yes, we do have a training in place that teaches people how to not only do this migration, but also how to operate the latest and greatest systems that we have. So training is really important. Always thinking at all levels, OEMs, integrators, and end users.
Quick question. Are you a CSIA member? If so, I need you to do something for me. I need you to go to www.controlsys.org/account and follow the instructions there to set up your new CSIA account. It's literally as easy as changing your password, and it will ensure that you don't miss out on any member benefits. So please, take 2 ticks and get this sorted. If you don't want to do it for you, do it for me, because my boss said, if you don't get on board, I'm going to have to start cold calling. Ugh. Please don't make me do that. And if you are not a CSIA member, what are you waiting for? Let's get this party started. Tell me about a project that was super challenging and what you did to solve the customer's problem.
Battery EV is a new term. Everybody's talking about electric vehicles. I want a Tesla. I want a Tesla so bad. But people don't think about the challenge of building these cars, the motors, or even more, the batteries. There is a tremendous amount of, I would say, processes and then technology involved in building these batteries. Back in 2020, 2021, we actually worked on a project. I wasn't quite involved, but I think it's just really cool to talk about it. We worked on a project for a high throughput battery cell production. So it's not only building the batteries, it's just having that high throughput, the high speed, because you can say you can build a vehicle. For example, if I go to Tesla right now and I want to buy one, I want to drive it now. I don't want to have to wait 6 months or a year to drive the Tesla. So yes, building these batteries at a high pace is really important. So we got involved with this customer, and I'm actually able to say the name because it is public knowledge, but the customer is called DW Fritz. That is OEM, that is our integrator. And they came to us with the challenge of this high throughput battery cell production. The challenge was not only on the high speeds, but it's also on the footprint, the real estate that you're taking was in the factory, and the accelerated development time. That's customers will tell you often, or you ask them, when do you need it? And they will say yesterday. So yes, the development time was definitely very tight. Now, Bosch Rexroth, we partnered up with DW Fritz. I remember reading this article, and that's actually, I'm referencing a lot of these things that I read from this article. But we partnered up with this customer, DW Fritz, to develop this machine to be able to fulfill the three major requirements: the spacing, the speeds, and then also the development time. So we developed a complex multi-technology production line to be able to fulfill the needs of this new battery production line. What was included in there? Well, from our company, Bosch Rexroth, we provided multiple conveyor systems. We actually provided a lot of the linear motion technology, the stages that we make, a lot of the aluminum framing, and I'm proud to say this, a lot of the latest technology that we offer with the ctrlX automation, the PLCs, the motion controllers, the drives, the motors, all these electronics that went into the machine to make this real. To be honest, when I was reading this article, I was just impressed on the amount of engineering and collaboration between Bosch and DW Fritz to make this real. So I wish I would say that I was involved in the project. I'm not, but it's just definitely, I had to mention that in this interview. It was a really cool project. And if you guys want to learn more about it, just Google DW Fritz, that's FRITZ, and Bosch Rexroth, and you will find the article.
What kinds of trends and challenges are you seeing in industrial automation right now?
So I'll mention the top 5, top 6. So given all the experiences that we had during the last 2 years, from my personal opinion, I see challenges with cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, predictive maintenance, 5G connectivity, traditional versus additive manufacturing, and then being eco-friendly. I mean, Amazon is just all about, being eco-friendly. So those are the challenges. I wish I could just talk about all of them, but I'll concentrate on the first 3. So if I talk about cybersecurity, there is an increase in cybersecurity. We've all seen all these problems. Last year, we had a problem with Colonial Pipeline. I don't know if you remember that. That shut down the pipeline, and there was gas issues on the East Coast. Gas prices, people couldn't find gas. It became a headache. Not only can represent a headache at the business level, it can represent a headache to the consumer like you and I, Lisa. So this is a problem, and it is a problem at all levels, but in industrial automation, it is definitely a problem. So now you got hackers, like the Colonial Pipeline, you got hackers going into the VPN network and then shutting down the production and affecting all of us together. So implementing a very robust cybersecurity plan to protect networks and data is no longer an option. It has become a challenge. We have to protect our networks. We have to protect our data. It's no longer an option. Back in 2000, yes, it was a topic, but it wasn't a high-level priority when you're talking about automation. It wasn't the first thing that you talk about in a meeting. So to us, it's no longer an option to keep our systems disconnected. We need the data. We need to be able to take production data out to the cloud to be able to do the analytics. to be able to do the monitoring. That is really important. It is a topic, big data. We have to keep our communication. We have to keep our network secure. And then to us, that is a challenge. At Bosch Rexroth, we recognize this issue. We recognize this as a topic. We take it very seriously. That is why when we're talking about things like cybersecurity or hackers, at Bosch, we have addressed this in our latest control platform, ctrlX automation. If you go to our website, you will see things like evaluating the current security status. Yes, that is something that we talk about. That is something that we advertise. That is a topic during our sales conversations. Increasing the security level, building the security expertise, not only within our organization, but also helping our OEMs and integrators to build that knowledge because it is important. And they also recognize that. When we advertise our controls, for example, we call our control the ctrlX core. We say that it is secure by design and by default. Go back 20 years ago, I would have never said that. But it is a topic. It is something that we mention. Now you go back to 2004 and you think about security, you probably would say, it's not really that important. This system is not going to be connected to the internet. Nowadays, 2022, my system will be connected to the internet. It is an important topic. Now that we have the network security in mind, now that we know data is important, now we know that disruption at the production level is an important topic, another challenge comes in place, which is artificial intelligence. Let's just say you have a secure network. You got data up and down. Now, what do you do with the data? Well, a human being can only do so much with data. As a matter of fact, once you got amounts and amounts of data in place, a human being, a human brain cannot read all that stuff. It takes years and years to analyze the data to be able to do something good with it, to be able to create efficiency, increase quality, reduce cost. For a human being, it's almost nearly impossible to do that. Well, that's where you start getting into the artificial intelligence. Actually, artificial intelligence is not a new topic. It's an old topic. It's been around since the 1950s. This is actually referring to smart computers that can do the traditional jobs that human beings used to do, or we still do in some cases. So the AI will come in place and do those jobs for us. For example, taking extreme amount of data, going through it quickly, and generating some sort of an output based on that data. It could be a report. It could be even something that says you have a bottleneck in this area or you're going to have a problem in this area. So AIs will help you out with that. Having said that, one form of AI would be predictive maintenance. That's where we take this AI module and then we can apply it to analyze the data and then start doing predictive analytics or predictive maintenance. How is that? Well, you got all these sensors, you got all this data coming through, and then now you send that data to the cloud, you put it on a database, and now you apply the AI to it. The AI can actually review all the data, not only the non-real-time data, but also the real-time data, and start understanding how your system is behaving. And it will find the anomalies, the ones that are not common, and it would actually start detecting where is that coming from. For example, this motor was actually running at a certain speed. It was running at a certain temperature. It was requesting X amount of current. And then all of a sudden you see those signals spike up. A human being can actually tell you there is a problem there, but a human being cannot read all that data at a fast pace and tell you that answer. It would take time. The AI will come in, see all the data, and actually tell you, hey, Lisa, this motor is about to give up. You better replace that, otherwise your production is going to go down. And that's where you can become proactive and say, I'm going to schedule a shutdown, replace the motor, and then restart my production, rather than being reactive. All of a sudden your production goes down, and then now you got to deal with the headaches, the stress goes up, people are screaming and yelling, and customers are disappointed. So yes, the AI is a trend in the future. The predictive analytics is another trend, and then cybersecurity is a challenge. So all these three things is something that at Bosch Rexroth we know, we understand, and actually we can be a help to our customers or OEMs and integrators to address these challenges and these trends in the future.
A couple of quick stats from the 2021 State of Marketing to Engineers report. 1. Online content supports over 50% of the buyer's journey. That number jumps to 70% in the under 45 crowd. 2. 82% find value in virtual events. What does that mean for you? Well, if you want to tap into this digital ecosystem, CSIA has you covered with multiple opportunities to sponsor virtual events throughout the year. Plus, we've got digital advertising and sponsored content products to help you reach the exclusive system integrator audience. Interested in learning more? Visit www.controlsys.org/opportunities. What would you say is the biggest challenge facing the automation marketplace today and looking into the future?
Well, we talked about data, right, Lisa? We talked about connectivity. We talked about predictive analytics. We talked about increasing quality, reducing costs. That's all part of Industry 4.0. So remember back at the beginning of this interview, we talked about me getting into Industry 4.0 or digitalization back in 2015. This is a passion. I love digitalization. As a matter of fact, here is a side note. Why do I love digitalization? Well, let's look, for example, Uber, one of the biggest transportation companies in the world. They don't own a single taxi or a single car. It's all software. It's all digital. It's a digital business. Same thing with Airbnb. They don't own a single property. It's all digital. It's a digital business. So digitalization is definitely an important topic to me. But in our industry, back to the question, Industry 4.0 is one of the biggest challenges. We know this is the fourth industrial revolution driven by data collection. We know data is a challenge. And then adding the artificial intelligence on top of that. So one of the challenges that I see is not so much on the collection of the data. We know we have to do it. We have the ways of doing it. Keeping it safe, cybersecurity is the one challenge. Understanding and developing the AIs is another challenge. And then applying the functions like predictive maintenance is another challenge. But actually, that's not the biggest. The biggest is actually making people deliver. How do you tell someone to invest in this digital technology? How do you break away from the traditional thinking? From my experience, I've seen many people saying, I understand all you're talking about. I understand these buzzwords. Big data, cloud computing, databases, artificial intelligence. I just don't see how that translates into an ROI. Again, I'm thinking of the traditional thinking, breaking away of thinking about the dollars and cents and just seeing more the value. So this is where a lot of us in the industry have to come together and start kind of preaching about the cost reduction, the time reduction, the quality improvement, and equating that to data. And then coming up with those business cases so management executives can actually see the value of it. More important, we have to become the experts and the project partners to a lot of our customers to kind of let them know you're not alone. We're here to support you. And as a matter of fact, trying to put our vision in their minds, that is extremely difficult. It is a challenge. Many people just see the buzzwords. They just don't believe it. As a matter of fact, a lot of me and my colleagues in the industry, when we start talking about cloud computer and artificial intelligence, executives start thinking about the faucet. It's like they're opening the faucet and the dollar signs are just flowing away. So breaking that mentality, breaking away from the traditional thinking is definitely a big challenge.
Switching topics a little bit, let's talk about me, or at least CSIA. Tell me why Rexroth became a member of CSIA.
Good integrators is really important to us. Quality integrators. Here we go. We're using the word quality again. So from my experience, a good integrated partner makes a difference when you're integrating our products and when someone is integrating our products into a system. The final system performance not only depends on the technology, the feature that we offer, that Bosch Rexroth can offer, or even the user friendliness that we offer in our latest platform. It doesn't only depend on that. It also depends on the quality of integration. So we can go to an end user, and then we can preach all about the technology and everything that we offer as a company, Bosch Rexroth. But at the end, the system doesn't depend on that. It depends on the integration on it. Make sense? So to quickly answer your question, I would say that CSIA provides a network of professional integrators that have gone through an approval process, and they have the required knowledge and technical expertise to provide this quality integration. That right there is important to us, to Bosch Rexroth. I'll add to it. We as a company like to associate ourselves to a group of integrators that offer technical expertise, the best practices, and even more important, I'll refer this to your website, the certification. You guys offer certification. So we have our own system partners, and we like to say, hey, go to this website, go to CSIA, and then take the certification. It's just going to help you out. So the fact that you guys offer that is definitely a plus to us. It is important to us not only to offer quality products, and I keep saying the word quality, but to also really relate to us to an industry trade organization and members that offer quality services.
What makes you optimistic about the future of the automation industry?
If I go back to 2004 when I came into the industry, and this is 2004, things like IoT, 5G, TSN, AWS, predictive analytics, these are words that were not very popular, probably didn't even exist. I don't think AWS was a thing back in 2004. Fast forward to 2022, all these topics, all these words that I just mentioned, they're not day-to-day professional and even personal life. I guarantee you, Lisa, that you have some sort of an AI in your home, either an Alexa or a Google device and some sort of a, Nest device. All those devices, they have IoT, they all have artificial intelligence in it. So yes, it is part of our professional and I would say personal life. Now, we have done a tremendous amount of development in the last 20 years, just to keep it simple. So we have done a tremendous amount of development in a relative short time, if you think about it. Look at the smartphones, all the advances that we made since the flip phone. Yes, I used to have the flip phone back in 2004, and nowadays I got this phone that can actually do it all for me. This actually makes me optimistic about the industry, specifically our automation industry. I heard something this week during the conference that I went to. If it can be measured, it can be automated. I can tell you that most things nowadays can be measured. Take, for instance, AI. Our industry is putting a lot of investment into AI. Why? Because a lot of the things in our industry can be measured, and this AI can actually look at all this data and then analyze it, create outputs out of it that will help us do our job better, that makes us more efficient. So AI systems in the future, from my point of view, are going to make healthcare better. Will probably be embedded into a car where you don't have to any longer drive your car. The car will drive you. But this is not only applicable in our personal life, it is also applicable in industrial automation. For example, let's just say you have a production shop floor. The production shop floor is running and all of a sudden something breaks. Well, imagine if now the AI can actually realize that something happened, send a robot, understand what's going on, see the problem, go back to a 3D printer, print the broken part, and then replace it, and then go back all automatically. That is amazing. And you know what? We're not far away from that. So what makes me optimistic about the future is the fact that we're investing a lot in the right technologies, AI, data, connectivity, cybersecurity, things that actually are real now, and then actually things that not only are going to make our lives easier. I don't want to be the guy loading and unloading things from a truck. I want to be doing the smart job. I'll let a robot, I'll let an AI handle the unloading and loading of the truck. Trust me, I like my back. So yes, I'll let the robots, I'll let the automation, I'll let the AI handle that. I want to be doing the smarter job. From my point of view, the future in industrial automation looks bright. We're investing a lot in the right directions, and we're definitely expanding a lot in the right technologies.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Talking Industrial Automation. If you're interested in learning more about Dan or Bosch Rexroth, you can find them on the CSIA Industrial Automation Exchange at www.csiexchange.com. Thanks for listening, and thank you, Dan, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. Glad to be back anytime.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also help others find us by leaving a 5-star review and sharing your favorite episodes with colleagues. Thanks for listening to the Talking Industrial Automation podcast. Thanks also to bensound.com and Wistia for the music bumpers. Until next time.